Vol'Jin, we know he's coming back. We know the trolls are taking kind of like a secondary forefront role in Midnight, right? We know it's all about the elves and the other pointy-eared people, but where'd the elves come from? A lot of, trolls, right? We know that the trolls are kind of the origin of elves, and they're taking a big leap forward here. We got Amani shit going on in this expansion. We got Vol'Jin shit. We got Darkspear stuff, all kinds of things. Now let's get into this one here. The rebirth of Vol'Jin can bring troll paladins and an Amani allied race? Oh, if only. I sure hope so. Let's see this video here from our good buddy Zaxxus.
Years ago, on the darkest shores, a brave troll fell in battle, facing an ancient enemy. But his tale did not end there. The Loa had plans, and justice had the loudest cry of all.
Early pause.
I will lay bare the
early pause here. I just want to say Vol'Jin was done wrong. I feel like he was just used as cannon fodder for Sylvanas. Like the Sylvanas storyline had to happen, so they just killed off Vol'Jin. That's how it felt. He was a badass. I'm an Alliance player, but I can admit Vol'Jin was cool. He deserved better.
Path that Blizzard has set in stone for the grand return of Vol'Jin, and how his legacy as Loa will be decided in Midnight. Grab the closest flask of mojo and buckle up.
There may be mild spoilers ahead.
Okay. Good.
Vol'Jin, son of Sen'jin, struck down by a demon, deceived by a whisper, and doomed the Horde by naming Sylvanas war chief. But the spirits do not see things this way. For Darkspear never die, and Vol'Jin's greatest trial lay yet before him.
Ooh, the life of Vol'Jin, a hero of the Horde.
Vol'Jin lived not for power, but for his people. He stood beside Thrall, bled for the Darkspear in the face of injustice, and guided the Horde with cunning and wisdom. He was the voice of reason when pride ran wild, and the heart of bravery when the Horde lost its way. Vol'Jin defied the great Zandalari Empire and dared to challenge tyrants like Zul, Garrosh, and even Mozala.
You gotta remember too, like the Amani trolls were a scary bunch, man. These buff-ass trolls, people didn't fuck with them. You go into that forest, you're not coming back out. And Vol'Jin was, he was brave. He walked in there and was like, listen, guys, you wanna fuck around, you're gonna find out. I'm just letting you know. And he was a badass. He did a lot of badass shit back in the day. That's why I say, like, he deserved better than to die to those NPCs in the fight of the Broken Shore.
He was more than a chieftain. He was a shadow hunter. He learned the ways of the Loa, the sacrifices and honor that they demanded. In Pandaria, Vol'Jin stood witness to the judgment of the August Celestials as they weighed justice against the war crimes of Garrosh Hellscream. But justice doesn't always come for the just of heart, and when death finally came for old Vol'Jin, it did not come clean. The greatest injustice of our time is the fall of a chieftain before his own rise.
Yeah, he had potential.
Fell poison in his veins, Vol'Jin passed beyond this world. And you, hero, took his ashes to Zandalar, to Ataldazar, to rest with kings. But his soul was missing. Vol'Jin had been pulled back from the other side, lingering in a limbo. And when his spirit reached out, he longed for one thing above all.
So much loss, so many without guidance, so many without justice.
It was then that...
It's a Horde questline? I don't remember this. I mean, I'd assume it is. You're doing Zandalari shit. So I never played through this. This is cool. I never seen this side of the Vol'Jin storyline. And the thing is about Vol'Jin, yeah, you said deceived by a whisper. Promote this man to Loa. I mean, the man had faith. Right? You can't blame the man for having faith. He didn't realize that the whispers were coming from a unjust source. He was just trying to follow what was right, and that's the good. Vol'Jin had a good heart. He did. He wanted to do right by his people, and that's why he listened to the whisper. He thought he was doing right by his people. And who the hell, when it did happen, right? Like, it's not like the whisper was telling him, go be Res Garrosh and make him war chief again. It was telling him to promote Sylvanas, like somebody that everybody, when it happened, thought, Oh, yeah, she could be war chief, right? She's been around forever. She's been doing her thing. She's been a good, loyal person to the Horde. So, I mean, and none of us thought that was a crazy thought when it happened. So I understand why Vol'Jin wouldn't have thought it was crazy for the Loa to suggest her. He may have thought, really, Sylvanas? But then at the end of the day, he probably thought, well, yeah, she's been loyal to the Horde for a long time. Sure.
We aided Vol'Jin, Talanji, and Bane Bloodhoof in inquiring who exactly had swept away Vol'Jin's soul, and if it was the same nefarious whisperer who bid him to name Sylvanas as war chief. To our surprise, the Valkyr Queen, Aegir, informs us that Vol'Jin's soul was touched by the hand of valor. That this was a power beyond her ability to forge, and that such a noble force does not scheme for mortal thrones. Ooh. But that was all the knowledge she was...
I'm seeing a play into troll paladins now. Now I'm starting to see what Zaxxas is cooking here. Yeah, this touch of valor means maybe the light reached out to Vol'Jin. Light and trolls, hey, troll paladins, I could see it happening. What would be their mount? Some kind of light-forged raptor? That'd kind of be badass. Damn.
Willing to share. Fast forward to Shadowlands, and after time in Bwamsamdi's care, Vol'Jin's spirit was called upon to confront Muzala, the Loa of death.
Right, when I say troll paladins, I mean Darkspear paladins. You're right, we do have Zandalari paladins already, so yeah, why not? Why not Darkspear paladins?
Who whispered poison into Vol'Jin's ear. And with Vol'Jin's help, Bwamsamdi subdued the wicked Muzala. It was then that our fallen chieftain was tasked with rescuing the spirits of wild gods who were unjustly sent and lost within the Maw, and returning them to the Winter Queen in Ardenweld. As he did so, Vol'Jin recalled his mortal life, saying,
All me training as a shadow hunter be leading to this moment, tracking a spirit inside the Maw and saving them from eternal torture.
But not all could be saved. For the Loa, Rizan, King of Kings, sacrificed himself, passing his light into Vol'Jin so that another hope might rise.
Right, new Loa of Kings.
Oh, Rizan, we're gonna take you out of here. Get your strength back. Vol'Jin of the Darkspear, your soul is fierce. You seek justice. The last glimmer of my essence is yours. Carry it to Ardenweald. Let all that I was be reborn within you. No, I be just an old shadow hunter. Our people, they be needing too. You are the one they need.
Oh, cool. I haven't seen that either. I knew that this happened, but I actually never saw the cutscene.
Rizan
Cool
gave
cutscene.
up his
I'm not
rebirth
crying, Yabby.
so that Vol'Jin
Sweating
could
from my
carry the
eyes.
flame. And when his hunt was done, Vol'Jin stood before the Winter Queen.
Intriguing, a mortal soul entwined with the essence of a Loa. I cannot say what fate will befall you, Vol'Jin of the Darkspear, but I offer you this chance to one day be reborn anew.
Vol'Jin humbly accepted, entering the Wild Seed in Ardenweld, and began his transformation. This was the last time that we saw Vol'Jin, and before we get into where he comes up next, we have some unanswered questions.
And by the way, is Bwamsamdi like confirmed to show up yet in Midnight? Because he's a cool character, and I haven't really seen anything about him yet, being in Midnight in any way, shape, or form. But he should be. He's the Loa of Death. I mean, he's got to be there.
So, who did touch Vol'Jin with the hand of valor? The answer is still unknown. Some say it was Razan himself, the Loa of Kings, who later gave up his light to Vol'Jin. But remember, Aegir claimed such a power would not scheme for kings and queens of mortal thrones, and that Vol'Jin had been touched by a power beyond even her ability to forge. Some think it's Azeroth herself, but
Could be.
one thing is for certain. Whoever reached out to Vol'Jin to save him from damnation saw a great destiny in the fallen chieftain. And the clues of his savior might just lie in his current location, Ardenweald. You see, Vol'Jin is not the only soul we know of to be saved this way. In Legion, we saw Ysera, the green dragon aspect, fall to corruption, and her goddess, Elune, somehow intervened, bypassing Ysera's soul to Ardenweald.
Right. That's another big one that I'm wondering if we're going to get more lore deep dives into is Elune, right? Like, we know things about Elune, but we also don't know a lot of things about Elune. We still don't know if she's related to Azeroth in some way, what cosmic force is she coming from? We're not completely sure yet. And with all the elf shit happening, I'm wondering if we're going to get some more Elune lore coming out. And then, hey, maybe Night Elf, Elune-style paladins. Ooh, Moon paladins. I don't know what people call them, but that's always been one people have wanted. And what's up, Elena? We know Elune is the Winter Queen's sister. Yes, yes. We got Elune lore in Shadowlands, but I haven't heard much
too,
since.
Now rests in these celestial gardens, and though her name was never spoken, I believe the fate of Vol'Jin may have been decided by none other than the goddess of eternal starlight. For another warrior fell on the very same day, Varian Rin, dubbed Logosh by the orcs, who was the favored mortal
Badass.
of Goldrin, the great wolf, the wild god of ferocity and valor, and Varian was his chosen. Goldrin was a servant of Elune, but a reckless one, wild and untamed. He saw
Just
in
like my
Varian
king.
something he lacked in himself, the restraint and nobility to wield power without savagery. When Varian
Man, fucking Varian, man. He could have ended the Horde on this day. He was a badass. On the day that he invaded Undercity, he could have ended it all. He could have taken back Lordaeron and everything, and he chose not to. What a badass. We need to find out if Elune is hot. Yeah, of course. That's the most important question, no doubt.
savagery.
This is what I miss
When
about WoW.
Varian
Yeah.
fell, Goldrin mourned and vanished into contemplation. But what if, on that day, on the broken shore, he saw another valorous soul burning bright? What if Goldrin beheld Vol'Jin's final stand and recognized his noble heart? Perhaps it was not just Elune who acted alone, but Goldrin who nudged her to save his soul. A soul worthy enough of teaching a wild god how to change. Whether it was Goldrin, Razan, Elune, Azeroth, or some ancient will yet unnamed, Vol'Jin was saved for a reason.
By the light.
Why?
Looks like.
What fate specifically did this mysterious benefactor foresee for Vol'Jin of the Darkspear? This, my friends, is where it gets heavy. For even the wise Vol'Jin's legacy is not without shadows. In life, Vol'Jin made a choice that haunts him still. The betrayal and abandonment of the great troll leader, Zul'jin.
Here we go. Amani lore, man. Amani lore is so cool. If you guys remember, like when I was talking about, before Midnight was even announced, I love to pat myself on the back about this, I said, we're going to get a Silvermoon rebuild, City's going to go cross-faction at some point, and when that happens, I hope we get Amani troll lore to go with it. I basically pre-announced the expansion, I'm just saying. But because I love Amani troll lore. I think it's such a cool thing, and it was kind of, we had the raid, and then we didn't get much after that. So I did predict a playable Amani Trolls too, I will say. I got some shit wrong on that one. But we could still get it, maybe. You're pretty much a prophet now. I don't like to say it, but
was Amani,
you're not wrong.
a fierce warrior, a relic of a blood-soaked age, haunted by human dominance. But he never bowed to elven tyranny. He never betrayed his own kind, no. Zul'jin fought for the justice of his people to his dying breath. And Vol'Jin, loyal to the elf-ridden horde, stood aside, condemning Zul'jin to a fate he never deserved. Rather than rest with the Amani, Zul'jin's spirit was unjustly cast into Revendreth, a nightmarish realm of atonement and absolution for the sinful and wicked. You see, even the previous Ranger General of Silvermoon, Sylvanas Windrunner, in seeing Zul'jin's punishment within the afterlife, thought that the torment inflicted upon him was indeed unjustly cruel. We players encounter Zul'jin's tormented soul in Revendreth, who seems to have escaped his captors for now. And though he died by our hand, Vol'Jin's silence allowed it. Though we remember Vol'Jin as a troll who fought for honor, the skeletons in his closet are bathed with Amani blood. And it is in this great injustice that Vol'Jin's greatest trial begins. Zul'aman stirs, and perhaps Zul'jin's freed spirit waits in anger. In the place where blood was spilled, Vol'Jin will confront Zul'jin's legacy, promising the Amani that as Loa, he will strive to free the souls of trollkind from unjust fates.
That's right. Vol'Jin can talk to Zul'jin's offspring, right? They're a mainstay of the upcoming expansion. Now, one thing is about these two is like one is very much right here. The daughter is very much like more even, level-headed. Of course, Blizzard loves to play the whole, well, the men are fucking idiots. But the son basically, or say the grandson, is more like, we got to bring back the Amanis to the badassery and the big dicks and all that shit, and we're going to do whatever it takes to make it happen and fuck the rest of the world. Whereas the granddaughter is more like, well, we need to, assimilate back into the world and bring Amani trolls in with the rest of the races and, do the right thing and all that. So we have we've kind of a conflicting viewpoint of the future of the Amani trolls, or, the Amani trolls. Maybe Zul'jin tries to offer some advice here. Maybe he tries to steer him in the right direction. We'll see how he interacts with him. I didn't think about this interaction. That'll be a cool one.
Zul'jin's legacy.
This is what modern lore is too sanitized. The old lore was gritty. Yeah, I don't disagree. It did get sanitized for a bit, but I'm hoping that the return of Metzen, and he's writing the lore for Midnight. He didn't really do it for The War Within, but Midnight is going to kind of be his take on the lore again. I hope it does get gritty again. The one in the left looks like Sam.
Promising the Amani that as Loa, he will strive to free the souls of trollkind from unjust fates. Not just the Darkspear, but all tribes. To truly become the Loa he's fated to be, Vol'Jin must face the greatest injustice
the troll uniter.
Inflicted in life. And by reckoning with Zul'jin, perhaps he can finally bring justice to the Amani tribe and help fold their people back into the circle of trollkind. Only then can Vol'Jin rise as more than a shadow hunter. He will rise as the Loa of Justice, fated to bring an end to the rule of order.
Badass. The Loa of Justice.
We've talked about what it's all been leading to. Who touched Vol'Jin with the hand of valor, and why this arc has been destined for him from the start. But the question remains, how? Vol'Jin's ashes still remain on Azeroth, unscattered, unburied, just waiting in that urn that we took to Zandalar and used to commune with him.
Damn.
Samdi stopped the final rites, because Vol'Jin's story wasn't over, and perhaps his urn will yet serve as the vessel for his return. Back during the announcement of Battle for Azeroth, we were teased that Thrall would take Vol'Jin's urn to Zandalar himself, a plot we saw changed and realized with Gadrin, Talanji, and ourselves. But what if it's not too late to see this teased thread continue? Thrall, our favorite ex-world shaman who has been all but absent from the war within, must
What is he
play a
been
role
doing?
in Quel'Thalas and the Horde's history with the Amani during Midnight. And I feel that the odds are stacked for Owena and Thrall to team up in Zul'jin.
Oh, maybe. Maybe we get Horwayna and Thrall teaming up to do some of this shit. I can see it. I mean, not the Zandalari. What the hell are these guys called again? The Haranir. I mean, everyone says, oh, they're kind of like the link between elves and trolls. And like I said, elves are taking the forefront. Looks like trolls are taking the second line in terms of storytelling. So it makes sense that, yeah, we're going to get more of the lore from Horwayna and her friends.
For Vol'Jin's soul was last seen entering a wild seed in Ardenweld, and we've never learned exactly how or where wild gods are reborn after their rest. But bear with me, I think we will. This war within has introduced us to the Haranir, a mystical race of druidic folk who tend to the roots of Elunahir and hail from a sacred place that they call the Cradle. And I believe
the original place of Azeroth's world soul.
That this so-called Cradle just may be where the wild gods are reborn. A reflection of the celestial gardens in Ardenweld remanifested in the Emerald Dream. A flip of the coin and transfer of soul to be reborn in reality. Where once there was a seed in Ardenweld, there is now a seed in the Dream. And our friend among them, Orwena, will play a part in Vol'Jin's return through his wild seed. Here is the closing prediction. Accompanied by Thrall, we will unknowingly take what is Vol'Jin's wild seed, delivered to us by Orwena, to Zul'jin, to the deep forests there where the gods of the wild roam, the bidding she heard from the goddess. In our quest, like he often does, Ul'Bam Samdi will appear to us, presenting Thrall with the urn containing the ashes of Vol'Jin.
This would be cool.
And urging us to finalize his long-awaited rebirth. At a place of spiritual power, Thrall will set the urn, and you, hero, will plant the wild seed within the ashes of Vol'Jin, and witness his grand return.
Oh, shit.
A valor-forged phylactery, blessed by spring and winter alike, for the Loa of justice to rise. Vol'Jin's great story enters its new chapter, and Warcraft regains one of its most iconic, loved characters.
This would be badass.
And that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Zaxxas, and if you've enjoyed this theory and
great video,
breakdown
man.
of Vol'Jin's arc, please drop a comment. Let me know.
I got
what you
goosebumps.
think. Will we get Amani allied races this way?
Or troll paladins?
Food for thought. Until next time, may the light of truth, justice, and freedom ever guide you. And remember, Darkspear never die.
Oh, that's a great, man, what a great video. Yeah, you like this is Zaxxas, man. He does some great shit. He always produces bangers. And this one, honestly, one of the really good ones. I enjoyed this a lot. I hope Vol'Jin gets this. There he is. He's in the chat right now. I hope Vol'Jin gets this kind of redemption arc. He doesn't need redemption because he's a badass. He didn't do anything that needs to be redeemed, but I hope his character gets more because he deserves more. He was a really cool character. Vol'Jin did a lot of cool stuff before he died, and he's doing cool stuff after he died. His return as the Loa of Justice reincarnated in our realm, that would be freaking cool, man. That'd be really cool. Maybe he can train up some Darkspear troll paladins too. That'd be badass. And playable Amani, who knows? Who knows? But a nice story, nice video from Zaxxas. I linked it in the chat, and should be linked down below on the reaction video. Nice one.